Oh.
All right. Or we're going to be selective applicational use. And which is what we do. We use selective applicational use. That's where we use a lot. Things that don't fit, things that are old, don't fit. But you notice that the Bible is timeless.
All right.
It meets every requirement of today. The same thing people were doing 10,000 years ago, guess what?
They're doing it
It's not that. They're doing the very same thing today. We're doing it for water. We're doing it faster. But we're still doing the same thing. People are still sinning. So if people are still sinning, you can't tell me that the Bible doesn't have the Constitution. It just tells you what they did a long time ago. And you bring it up to the person up to date. You still have adultery, you had it back then. You got stealing, you had it back then. You got robbery, you got it back then. You got killing, first thing, one of those first major things, you got it back then. So tell me, where have we changed? Or we got better? You look at mass murders now. These things ain't going on a murder spree. They just kill his brothers, right? But now we got people that are going on these sprees, killing them. And actually, for no reason at all. Justifiable reason. So when we go back and we start to look at it, it's our applicational selection use of what the word says. And nobody will take the same meaning because it always goes back to the same point. It's not what it's about. And how we see it is not always the thing that's right. It's only what is right to us. My experience says, oh, my grandpa taught me this. Okay, that's fine. But did your grandpa teach you to read?
All right.
That's the point. It's not whether he taught it because it was done 100 years ago and we've been doing this, and that's the thing I say about tradition. Tradition does not have the requirement to be right. It does not have the requirement. Tradition is simply nothing that you've done for a long time. And that doing it for a long time, now all of a sudden it makes it right. And I've been robbing banks 30 years. All of a sudden now, 31st year, that makes it right to rob a bank. No, it's just wrong 30 years ago, as it is right now. I've just been doing it for a long time. So we want to legitimize a thing by simply saying because of how long it's been done. But that's not the case. The case is right. And the boy has it. So I don't have a position. I don't get very vocal about when preachers. I don't get vocal about that. I can say one thing. That's the Bible. There's two places. First, 4:1. Do something with 4:1 and then come back and cover it. But I never say inability. Women are very capable. So that's the thing you can't take away. Some of them are a lot more capable than the men. Mm-hmm. But the point about it is, what does the Bible say? If my Bible is my guide, then in situations where I don't agree, I still got to follow my guide. Whether I think it's right or not, my guide has been right so far. So why would I think that it might not be right now? If it has guided me through all of these other things and kept me out of situations that I normally would be in, why all of a sudden my Bible is wrong? Because it's important. That's the case of the time. That's what we're at. We're in the time. And so, and movement will come and go. There's nothing like changing a flow. We have these fads. The young men walk on with these goofy pants. This kind of thing. In my day, man, you couldn't do that at all. I don't just get a rope on that, man. You found some way to do it. But we see, well, what is it? It's a fact. It's a thing. And sometimes we do things without understanding the meaning of what it really means. Really, the young men need to understand that is not a positive sign. Right? Really, in certain circumstances, you get into a Christian atmosphere, that's a negative sign.
Yeah.
So we see how we will take things from certain atmospheres and then try to adapt them onto our own and make a good thing out of it. Then the young men are trying to make a good thing out of wearing their hands all down between the knees. But in actuality, if you look at the connotation, you look at where it came from, right? It's a negative. And you can't tell me that God is in agreement with that. So we see that that's how we have to do it. So, in going back and looking at that, each of you from your own position, as you think about it, right? If your Bible is your guide, then understand who's going to be more right on the point. I don't care who the speaker, whoever else may be talking on it, I don't care who the lecturer is, right? If your Bible is your guide, right, then who you think is going to be more right on the point? That's all I got to say. I'm not going against any teacher that teaches the subject pro or contra. I'm just saying my Bible directs me on that subject. And it comes back and it reinforces the point again in time. So that's my position. But I just want you to do two things. Go back, find the meaning of minister. I was being used at the time to go back and look at preaching and see what kind of preaching he did. And I'm sure you'll find that the two things will separate themselves.
Ministry, preaching.
Because I think the subject of for most classes here now, when we define minister, how do you use the word most of the time? Just think about it. How do you define minister when you think of it most of the time? So then it becomes, and how I define it. See, now the person next to you is probably may and could have a completely different definition than what you got. And all of a sudden, that's two people right there next to you. You can have the same household, husband and wife. Minister means one thing to him. Minister means something else to her. Who's right? So the point becomes, who's right? That's where we go to argue. See, we go to who's right on this point. Well, me. Bible's right. Bible's right on the book. So when we define minister in the usage in our Bible, are we ministering to somebody? Because like what last usage, would we call that was a minister what you was doing, or what you was ministering? What was it doing? In other words, getting me the soft drink, getting me the chips and things, was that a ministry? But I would call it minister, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful of how we use it, because our English words will take on definitions using the same stuff, but not being the same thing. See, you weren't up preaching, you weren't up doing any evangelistic work, right? But was that the same thing as ministry?
Yes.
So we have to be careful of how we are using the word, because it's not so much to you, the user, it's more important to the one, the hearer. Acts chapter 2. It was important in that usage of what the scripture comes out for us. It says that the listeners were hearing him what? In their own language. That was much more to that than what was being said. Now understand, they were saying, don't we hear him in our understanding? In other words, we hear him as we would understand it. We're hearing him in the words that fine to us. We know what these words mean.
Yeah.
So now they're saying, well, I hear him, and I'm understanding because he's defining the words according to the way I would understand these words to mean. Now, we can go over to, as we use certain words in this class. Now, you can go to a class of eschatology, soteriology, pneumatology, and all of a sudden, the words change, but they can be saying the same thing. But now, all of a sudden, right, they're not words that you are common to what? Common to listening to. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying, is he talking about something altogether different? Not really. But it is the language that is different. It is the words that are different. But he's actually saying the same thing. But now, in this case, right, you were saying, Peter was saying what he had to say in our understanding. And we were not misinterpreting what he was saying. Whereas you go to one of the classes, and you started that study now,